What's up? We're Archetypes Collide, and this is Alive and Loud.
Welcome to Alive and Loud. Today, guys, we have a very special guest. It is the band Archetypes Collide. Thank you guys so much for joining us today, all the way from
Phoenix, Arizona.
I was waiting for that shirt right there. The valley right there, man.
Ooh.
There we go.
Sons
We're
and
repping the
four.
valley. We should just call it that from now on. We'll call it the valley.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure. So like I told you before we started, I discovered you guys a little bit ago and recently heard you on Octane, and I was like blown away because I had heard the other side of Archetypes Collide before, and then you debuted your Misery, and I was like, okay, hold on a second. And then of course there goes my webcam. Oh, there we go. We're back. A little technical difficulty. But dudes, I couldn't be more excited for you guys. You're getting a lot of love on XM. You're getting looks like your name is out there now. So what's it been like for you to have that initial exposure on Octane?
Yeah, honestly, it's been just crazy. I mean, it's just weird. Like, we're not used to it. It's kind of funny. Me and Kai, we were kind of talking about it as we were on our way over, and we were just saying, like, people, like, we have people on board that are ready for our music versus now we're just trying to find people, like, like we already got people waiting to hear stuff now, which is awesome. And it's like we have this fan base that's really grown because of Octane and because of their listeners, and I mean, just the support even from the the DJs at Octane, and then of course through our management we've been able to build some really cool relationships. And I mean, it's just from this time now versus last year, complete 180 difference in the people we're talking with, the fans that we're interacting with. It's just tripled, quadrupled what we were doing with before, and it's pretty sweet. It's a really good feeling to know that people genuinely dig what you're doing. So
Yeah, definitely. And I gotta say, man, you guys can create lyrics that people really connect with. It's one thing to create a tune that you can like really bang your head to, or like the new single that you guys just put out, Above It All, which is obviously a little bit different than your Misery. But that's the one thing that I love about your all's lyrics, is that you're able to just really put something out there that anybody from any walk of life can just sit down, analyze the song, and absorb that. And it's like, wow, I can connect to that in a way that I couldn't with, this group or this artist. So when you guys write songs, what is it like? Do you guys try finding a spot, like musically first with an instrument, or do you try to find like a lyric and go from there, or you pulling anything from personal experience? What do you really put into creating a song for Archetypes Collide?
I mean, really the process, especially for these last few songs we put out, was extremely collaborative. I mean, we typically as a band, we tend to write melodically, instrumentally, even vocal melodies. We'll write all that generally first, before really tying lyrics. Personally, I've always enjoyed writing a song, even just like vocally, I would just like doo-wop melodies where it's just not even like singing lyrics. I'm just singing a melody that I know just feels good with this instrumental. And then kind of sitting back and being like, well, what does this instrumental make me feel? What, where is it taking me? Emotionally, mentally, what kind of place is it putting me? And that's usually where I go lyrically. So like Above It All, I mean, it has this, very vibey, kind of chill, but kind of a holding back kind of feel, with the verses. Like, it's very like, there's something not right, like it kind of feels a little bit of like
a little withdrawn.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And so with that, it felt right to, go with something a little bit more vulnerable. versus like Your Misery, where we're riffing, we're going into it, it's heavy, it's aggressive, and we just wanted to basically have no filter, I guess you could say. And I think that was something that the instrumental really points us into the direction lyrically. And then as far as lyrics go, I mean, personally, I feel like the best place to come from lyrically is somewhere of just being transparent with who we are. We don't have to fake situations or act like everything's sunshine and butterflies, but also to like over exaggerate, whether it be just bad situations. Like, it's just what it is. We don't have to make up all these crazy situations. Like, we're taking real life scenarios where, like, Your Misery, like, genuinely had a person that you try your best to work it out with them. You try your best to engage with them and
Sure.
To love them and to be a good friend. And at the end of the day, they keep bringing you down, and you have to cut that cord. Like, it's just one of those things where you're like, I can't be around this anymore because it's bringing me down.
Right.
And that was real to me, and I think it came through in the song. So
It definitely did. I could tell whenever you started talking about Your Misery that Mr. Valley over there was getting real happy. You have a smile. Does that song mean something to you as well?
Well, we always joke. Well, he always jokes around that it was about me, so it's kind of funny when we get into that. But no, it was just. I love that song just because when we got the songs back from mastering and stuff, we were gonna release, I think, a different song first.
Yeah.
And then after listening to all the songs, we're like, yeah, we need to release Your Misery. This is it.
Yeah.
So.
Now, I say Mr. Valley because we haven't actually introduced our listeners to you guys formally. So I would really like it if you guys could take it away. Introduce yourselves to our listeners here at Alive and Loud, who you are and what you do in the band.
I'm Brandon, and I play rhythm guitar.
My name's Kyle, and I do the vocals.
I'm Kai, and I do bass.
I'm Jared, and I also play guitar.
And we have a drummer named Tyler who is AFK right now. He's sick.
Well, shout out.
So he really wanted to be here, but yeah, we have a show coming up, so we really didn't want to jeopardize everyone else, including myself vocally. So
I totally understand.
Even just getting a cold or whatever can really kind of screw up my vocals. So
For sure.
we're like, maybe let's have him sit it out for tonight. But
yeah, I'll make sure to send him some soup right after the episode.
There we go.
No, he actually started engaging in some of our posts right before you guys jumped on, so I'm sure his spirit's with us today, and we'll have to get the whole gang in here sometime soon. So so Kyle, I want to get back to some of the songwriting aspects of what you guys are putting together. If you had to give your album that's coming up a theme, what would really be the theme that you guys would kind of circulate around that?
I mean, that's a pretty good question. So I think for us, really lately with the songs that we've written and are continuing to write and whatnot, I think it's a lot of this past year has been not necessarily, I would say, like, not fun or not enjoyable, because there have been some benefits of being able to be home and connecting with family or whatever it is, and just being able to dial back from, like, life gets crazy sometimes. But I think personally for me, there was a lot of there's a lot more opportunity when you're not busy to kind of get into those not good places, there's a saying growing up in the church, there's a saying is idle hands are the devil's playground. So it's like, if you got nothing to do and you're stuck to your thoughts and you're stuck to your internal, just whatever it is, typically when we're by ourselves, it starts bringing us down. We need people. We need to be around people. We need to be in community. And I think a lot of this whole past year with COVID and things shutting down, it got gutted, you know, like doing shows, being able to get out there and get that emotion out and to be with friends and to do things and be social. You know, I think for me personally, I obviously love being able to hang out with people. I'm the social one. Like, it's just, that's how it's just my thing, you know? And I think having that ripped out really put, I think, a lot of us in a place that wasn't comfortable, and it was different. And I think it really kind of, it found its way into our music. So it's a really cool, I think that's kind of one of the main things I would say.
All right. Well, that's a great answer. I know a lot of people who are listening right now, if you haven't checked out Archetypes Collide, let me encourage you to do something right now. Get your head out from underneath of the rock that it's on, or and you know, just use your cell phone. Get on the internet and find these guys, because I'm telling you, what I've been hearing coming out from these guys for the last couple of several months since I've been doing some back catalog research has been nothing short of amazing. And I got to tell you, you know, you've got this new single, Above It All. You've got Your Misery. Are we going to be going from one extreme to the other with some more singles, or do you think that we're going to have a pretty even flow of a balanced record here with heavy and not heavy?
So I can't answer that completely, but I would say a thing that we've always kind of shot to aim for as a band, and especially with our name, Archetypes Collide. It's essentially an archetype is like a blueprint, kind of a set idea, and when archetypes collide, it's two different styles. So we've always really prided ourselves on being multidimensional with what we do. So like, we have no fear in putting out a song like Above It All, or if you go back a little bit further, we have a song called Forgive Me, which was really just super moody and chill. And then it has a really big, breakdown at the end. And it's, we have that. And then we have songs that riff and we just go for it. And we run into those core roots that, we basically grew up on. And I think for us, we don't personally, we don't want to lose that, because I think that's what makes us stand out, is we have a ton of dimensions, a ton of different style, genre archetypes that we can run from. And I think that's something we've always kind of sought out to do, is like, every song has its own style, and there's really nothing off limits for us, even, there's some songs, we had a song in 2018, I think it was, that we did some, rapping on, and like, we're just like, hey, if it sounds cool, it sounds cool. Let's do it. Like, we don't want to confine ourselves to a specific style. Obviously, it usually falls under the umbrella of rock, hard rock, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I think that's something for people to expect, is that it will be refreshing from song to song,
For sure. So who would you guys say, like, individually, Kyle, with you doing vocals and you guys in your own respective spots in the band, who influences you the most as far as an artist that's either come or gone?
We can go around the circle if you guys want to.
Yeah.
Influence us for what?
Like music.
Just stylistically as a band, like, what would you say some pretty big influences in what we do?
I don't know. I think the coolest part about us is that we have so many different backgrounds and roots all coming together to form one crazy sound. Like, I'm coming from like punk and blues, and you've got so many other different styles here. Like, it just creates one unique, different sound,
Yeah, and like for me, because like I'm the newest member of the band, I joined in 2019.
Yeah.
2019, but this was it. Your Misery, Becoming What I Hate, Above It All. Those are ones that actually have like my writing in it. And Your Misery is very much like my writing. I'm sample based, so I like Nine Inch Nails, Linkin Park, but anything where they'll just take a sound and then they'll build from that. And that, like, it's been adding to it. Like, it's definitely grown into like what our current sound is.
Yeah.
But it still gets like there was something like before I joined, there was a sound I always incorporated in the band, which is called like, I called it the branding guitar, because he's got like certain chords he'll play that aren't like a natural like rock sound. And that has continued to stay with this band. So I was like, as long as that's there, Kyle's voice is there, like that to me has always been the band. So you can always add whatever you wanted to it, and it'll still sound like Archetypes Collide.
I'd say some like, you know, bands that like have really influenced us. I mean, there's current bands that obviously, you know, will jam all the time, you know, like say Bring Me the Horizon, or, you know, bands like Dayseeker, Spirit Box. Like there's bands that just inspire us to be like, wow, like we got to get to that level. Like, how do we get there? You know, what do we got to do to get there? And I think that's, you know, coming from one of just being, you want your music to be different, but you also want to be like a good songwriter.
Right.
And that's something that I think has always been a priority for us. And for me is to write songs that get stuck in people's heads. And I think that's an art that sometimes gets overlooked in guitar riffs or drum grooves or, you know, crazy fills or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, I really enjoy writing, whether it's melodies, hooks, you know, certain call outs, whatever it is vocally. I've always enjoyed just writing stuff that like, it gets you, it hooks you, you know? Yeah. And I think there's a real, there's a lot of, you know, artists that I really like Thrice is one that, I mean, every chorus melody that dude, Dustin Kendrew writes, I mean, it just sticks. He's just so, like, I love it. He's like one of my favorites. Absolutely. I mean, even just pop music. I mean, like Bruno Mars, like I've been obsessed with that dude since he first came on, you know, pop radio back in like what, 2011 or 2012 or something like that. Like,
wow, it's been over 10 years.
His ability to like, you know, do the big band sound and have so many different layers and the dynamics he's able to create with, you know, it's just insane. So I'm a sucker for good songwriting.
Yeah. And I definitely can say, Brandon, before you go, like I'll be laying down in bed one night and my wife will be over there, you know, and we're about ready to have a baby here. And I'm over there tapping on the nightstand to the Your Misery beat. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, and she's like, what's going on over there? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't even help myself right now. It's just catchy. So if I sleep on the couch, it's your fault.
Well, congrats on the kiddo. That's awesome.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. Sorry, Brandon. I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. I mean, I'm kind of honestly all over the place. Like I grew up, once I started getting into music and stuff like that, I grew up on more stuff like Paramore. Still a big fan of them, but as far as like right now goes, I'm just all over the place. Like, you know, like he was saying, like Dayseeker, Spirit Box, Architects, all those guys are just really like influential in what we do, I think, and or at least, you know, getting ideas and stuff like that. But yeah, it's all over the place. I can listen to like metalcore one day, and the next day listen to Justin Bieber and Halsey and Billie Eilish and all that stuff. It's just I love, like, just kind of like Kyle was saying, just good songwriting and hooks is what gets me for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of like where music's gone lately, you know, like you can really listen to just about anything, and it just, I guess it's whatever drives the mood.
Yeah. And I think really with our songwriting, I think what kind of sets us apart and maybe is like kind of so we know we're capable of doing like Tyler on drums. He's insane. Like he's super talented. I mean,
yes,
you can see his chop. Like he just rips. I mean, like Jared, Brandon, Kai, like they're all insane musicians. And fortunately, I get to sing with them, so it's kind of nice that I have all these. But I mean, like we could do so much more, but it's finding that balance between what's going to sound best, right, and what's going to play best live, and you know, and finding that balance. Like, yeah, we could write a song where we just go crazy and shred all day, and like there is a niche market, you know, there's a niche kind of group for that. But for us, that's not really our thing. Like we don't enjoy that. And I think that's one of our strengths, is knowing when too much is too much you know, hey, you know what, this part we really need to let the vocal cut through, so let's pull back here and there. And it's kind of like it's like a dance, you know. So like, oh, like your misery, like, hey, I'm gonna shut up as a vocalist, I'm gonna let these guys riff, you know, like this is a sick riff, I don't need to be screaming over this, let's jam it, let the drums, let the guitars do their thing. And it's kind of that, we find that balance of letting everyone shine in their moment. And like I said, the songwriting, I think that's where we really enjoy leveraging that and finding those little moments in each song to really let a specific part cut through. And so,
it shines for sure. You know, and the one thing that I was always wondering whenever I heard you scream, I was like, my God, how does his voice just not go out? So I gotta ask, do you have any like pre-show rituals that you do to like warm your voice up for that, something like that?
You know what's funny is most shows, if you, wherever venue it's at, if you find a random hallway before our set and the band is playing before us, you'll find me in there making the weirdest sounds you've ever heard. It's very it's weird because it's screaming is a lot of trial and error with, I mean, that's anything, right? Like you just got to suck at something and be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that, I'm going to try this, and then this works better than that. And it's like you kind of have to just suck at whatever you're doing, and eventually you start finding the certain ways to do certain things work better, and you become more efficient. And I think screaming has always been that. I've always had a desire to scream, but in a way that's not going to wreck my vocal cords, you know? And some people, they call it fry screaming, or, you know, there's false chord screaming and all these sciences of it all. And in reality, it's just, for me, it's, I'm distorting my singing voice in a way that I'm not going to wreck my vocal cords. And so I found a way that just works. And if I could explain it, I would. But it's really, it's at the base of it all, like it's really, I feel like I'm still singing, but I'm distorting. And I think, you know, like growing up listening to Linkin Park, like Chester Bennington, like that was his style of screaming. Like if you listen, you'll hear him, or like Archetypes, like if you listen to their voice, they're really actually like singing notes and screaming on top of those notes. It's a really cool, and I love that, like melodic, it's almost like a melodic screaming, you know? Even Bring Me the Horizon does that now, you know, where they have, or like Bad Omens, you know, they have these styles of, they scream, sing. And I think, you know, Dayseeker does it as well. Like I love, it's hard to do, but when you can do it, it just sounds so cool. And to be able to, you know, incorporate melody and screaming is something that I think is just, it's awesome. I love it. And I think that's kind of the direction I've always enjoyed going, and it's worked.
Do you
well
feel like a release? I know I've spoken with several artists that do some of the screaming in music, and some of them do it just because they think it sounds cool, or some people do it because they'll say, oh, it fits the song. But do you ever find yourself doing it, or like, have you started to realize that you're doing it because like there's an actual like therapeutic like moment in this song where it's like, I can release what's inside in this specific lyric?
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think vocally, even singing, a lot of our choruses, a lot of our, you know, big, like I love belting. Like when I sing, like let it rip. Like it's got grit on it. It's got like a full voice behind it. And like same with that, and screaming vocally, I've always connected more and found more power in my delivery and connecting with songs when I'm able to just lean into it and just rip on it. And absolutely, I mean, yeah, it's the fact we haven't been able to play a show for over a year. It's been killing me inside, because you can only scream so much or sing so much with these, you know, these dudes. But you know, there's something special when you get to share those moments and have that collaborative, you know, group where everyone is really on the same page and we're all just kind of letting it all out and just going crazy. So I think that's something that, you know, we're really looking forward to.
You can only have so much going to a phone or a camera, and then waiting to see the response, compared to getting it immediate, just a quick endorphin.
So what are you guys looking forward to the most about like your first live show back? Like what are you looking for any specific moment, or are you just looking for the moment that you guys walk on stage and you can just soak it in and be like, you know, this is our first show back?
Yeah, I think for us, Our last show was December 2019, which was, it feels like forever ago, which it feels like forever ago for us. Like it's
Yeah.
so far away. And where our band was then to where it is now is one thing, you know, like obviously things have completely blown up for us. But I think also musically, I think we've really come to understand how to, you know, connect. Like these songs we put out, you know, over throughout 2020 and, you know, just recently, like there's songs that we know people are gonna just go off to.
Right.
And it's the anticipation of having essentially four songs that we've never really played live, you know? And it's like that one for us, I mean, we've been practicing our butts off. So obviously like there's that little butterfly of like, well, hey, don't screw up. But the other side is like, we finally get to share these songs in the way they were written for. Like we finally get to, you can only get so much from reading YouTube comments or Facebook comments or messages from people. It's like, I want to be able to share this with people. I want to be able to sing it with them. I want to be able to scream it with them, be able to headbang with them. And I think that's really for me personally, the anticipation that I have is just being able to finally share, you know, these songs in the way they were meant to be shared, you know?
Definitely. So I know that Tyler's not here with us today. So if you could have a message for your fearless drummer, what would it be? What would you want to tell him right now? Because he's going to be watching this, and this is going to be like after he's already healed up. So like he's already like gotten over it.
I could, Tyler, I hope you actually practice so the thing I hope you practice.
Better be practicing without us, baby. Yeah, no, he's we practiced probably about a week ago. So and then the rest of us practiced the other day. But yeah, I mean he's like the one musician that I'm like, no offense to you guys, like I do, but like he's the one like we never have to like second guess him. Like he's always been on top of what he does. If anything, we know he's good enough where he might do more. So I always have to be the one to look at him and be like, was that blast beat necessary? You know, he always finds a way to do that. So I'm sure he will at the live show. But yeah, we'll be able to get another practice in before, I believe. So, but yeah, it's he'll be all right. He's fine.
That's hilarious. So I want to ask one last question here. Is the video that you did for Your Misery, first of all, was insanely awesome. Where did you film that? What was that like for you guys?
Hot.
Very hot.
Because that was a really cool video. Like I mean, everyone that's watching or listening right now, obviously, if you haven't seen this video, YouTube's free. Just go watch it and you'll know.
Well, for like one thing, that was probably the first video we've done, and I went home and threw up. And I'm pretty sure I had a heat stroke. Like it was so that setup was actually, so I have a buddy that he shoots photography for like super nice sports cars and stuff like that and all that. And this was a while ago. I was on Instagram kind of scrolling through stories and I saw this auto shop and I was like, dude, right away I messaged him like, I need to know where this place is now because I want to shoot a video here. Like right away, I knew it. Like this is a freaking sick spot. And they had built this hexagon lighting and stuff and like this and it was just like, obviously they had these super nice cars in there. I was like, I don't care what it's going to cost for us to shoot a video there. Like we're going to figure this out. We're going to shoot something there. And so it was basically just a mutual friend. And then I hit up, I basically cold called or cold messaged the owner. Was like, hey, this is out of left field. And you guys probably haven't had anyone do this before because I haven't seen a video like this before. And I hit him up and kind of talked with him and we figured out, a way for us to do it. And if we broke anything, we would be in big trouble. And and it was just one of those, we always have our eyes kind of open for, cool just opportunities like that. And I think it was really one of those moments where the stars just aligned and it was such a cool setup. We didn't have to do anything to make it
cool. It was already
there.
there.
That blows
And
my mind. Like you're literally
made
blowing my
sense,
mind right now.
Yeah. So a lot of people actually don't know where it is, which is partially intentional, because
Right.
we would prefer not to have multiple bands shooting the same video as us. But but yeah, it
I've
was
never
basically
seen
just a mutual
anything
friend
like
that
it before. I can say that.
yeah, so it was just a mutual friend that shot photography for cars, and I saw this shop and I was like, dude, I need to get in there with my band. What do I need to do to make it happen? And we made it happen. So a little bit of a sales side on my end, but yeah, it worked out pretty damn well. So.
But on top of that too,
Oh, yeah.
Lance, the videographer,
Yeah.
went above and beyond for this video because he was on the same page as us. He's like, I don't want to tell anybody where this is because I don't want to film another video. But then he was like, I'm going to do extra editing that probably is like way overboard and like over the budget. But I'm still going to just do it. So that way, when it's done, it can't be topped after that at that location. And he did so much.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the most like unique videos that I've seen in a long time. I probably watched it like 5 or 6 times like in a row because I was just like, this is either perfectly planned, like, you know, the stuff in the ceiling and like the lighting and everything, or this is something that's like specific to where they're at. So I'm glad I wasn't actually very far off, you know.
Yeah. And it, I think for us it was just one of those moments where things finally clicked, you know, like we've been writing music and recording and, you know, playing shows for, I mean, our first music we recorded and put out on streaming platforms was 2014. We didn't even play shows until like late 2015, 2016. And then like, it's just been chipping away at it, trying to put song out after song after song out and trying to get that, you know, where it clicks and it pops off. And I think we finally, you know, the fact that I had a friend that had a connection to this place and we found this great spot to shoot and we had a videographer we built a relationship with that really wanted to put everything into it and just knock it out. And we had a song that we went to Ohio to record and everything shut down because of COVID in the middle of March while we were recording there. And we still were able to make this song happen. Like it was just everything it clicked. And I think for us, that was really, really awesome to see because we've been, like I said, just chipping away at this and finally it, you know, trying to light a spark. And it finally got it, boom, and lit and it went.
Hell yeah.
You know, the crazy thing is that there could have been a chance that song never existed either.
Yeah.
Because that was the very last song we recorded as kind of like an extra throwaway. We're like,
we're whatever. Like, sure, what the heck? We kind of, it was really with Ashi Bashar from Beartooth. He was working with us producing and stuff, and we kind of just got in there like, hey, let's get one more song in here. You know, where do we want to start? We had a couple ideas. We had pretty much the majority of the song written as far as the breakdown and the progressions and whatnot. And then we really just sat down and like, hey, like it was basically a no pressure situation. Let's just write a freaking banger. Yeah. And we just did what we naturally did and it worked out. And I think there was something that we took away with it, you know?
Yeah, well, you hit a home run with it, that's for sure. And you probably, what really took me by surprise was you've got a really good BLEGH.
Yeah. We kept telling him in the studio, we're like, do the BLEGH.
But that was the mentality. It's like, okay, like we didn't care. Like we're like, yeah, let's do a BLEGH. Like normally we'd be like, no, let's not do a BLEGH because that's kind of like, you know, like everyone does that, whatever. You know, we don't want to.
Oh no.
Or like, and like the breakdown, like we did one of those. We did. Yeah, in the breakdown we did like a whoop, like we're like, why would we even do that? We're like, sure, what the heck? Why not? Like, let's do it. And that was the mentality of that song. It's like, let's just do what we've always wanted to do, and we just laugh it off.
Oh yeah,
let's just do it. And we did, and it was we finally got to BLEGH, and I think maybe that was the secret sauce right there. So you'll see more BLEGHs from us in the future, I'm sure.
Oh, is that a promise?
I'm down to carry that one out for you.
Okay, and I hate to put you on the spot. I really don't hate to, but I'm gonna put you on the spot. Can you give us a good BLEGH right now?
Sure, 1 second.
Okay,
here we go.
All right.
God. You're welcome, world. You're welcome.
Yeah. Have a good day.
I don't think we could end on any better note than that right there. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been an absolute pleasure to sit down and talk with you. More to come from Archetypes Collide. Again, guys, thank you so much. I wish you all nothing but success. And from what I see, it's only up from here.
Absolutely. We
Thank you.
really appreciated you. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
This was a
Absolutely.
lot of fun. And this was probably one of our first, little interviews like this, coming into this new season of shows and stuff like that. So it's exciting to be able to kick that off with you. So definitely thanks for having us.
Definitely very grateful that you did that with us. And make sure, we'll get you guys back on here whenever Tyler's not sick, and we'll get the whole band in here. But yeah, make sure you guys are liking and subscribing on YouTube here. And if you're listening to us on iTunes or Spotify or Google Podcasts at the moment, make sure you hit that bell. Make sure you subscribe, comment, tell us what you like about the episode, ask some questions. Maybe you guys might get an answer on the next time we have Archetypes Collide.
There we go.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Take care.
Thanks.